from weird rituals and shady parties that the elites are commonly accused of participating in, to ancient tales of child torture and sacrifice. Today you will learn exactly why and how black magic is performed behind closed doors. Reality is not just what we see, it is shaped by forces most never notice. For thousands of years, humans have learned to harness energy through ritual, and some of the world's most powerful individuals today are said to still practice these forbidden arts. Today, I am going to explain how such practices are made to work. But first, let's establish what magic actually is. Before I get to explaining black magic, first you have to understand the fact of reality's twofold being. There is that which is seen and that which is unseen. Just like man has both conscious and unconscious aspects, reality itself is not only to be observed and measured with science, but to be felt and experienced with spirit. The ancients have been exploring the unseen aspects of reality for thousands of years, resulting in many metaphysical, philosophical, and psychological schools of thought. Among these explorations, one path stands out as the most taboo, and that is the path of magic. Aleister Crowley, a controversial mystic and the founder of Thelema, coined the term Magick with a K to separate true spiritual practice from stage tricks. Crowley writes, "Magic is the science and art of causing change to occur in conformity with will, defining it not as illusion, but as the disciplined shaping of reality itself. White magic exists to guide and transform without harm, and is usually practiced peacefully, aiming for harmless shifts. However, black magic draws on the deepest, most primal forces through blood, sexual acts, and even animal and human sacrifice. Many mystics warn against black magic. Black magic is not a myth, it is a fearful reality, and those who traffic in it are destined to become its victims," said Manly P. Hall. Helena Blavatsky wrote, "It is sorcery and idolatry to offer blood sacrifices. The spilling of blood attracts only the lower elementals, never the divine. Yet despite such warnings, many have continued to engage in these forbidden arts, seeking power in the shadows where life and death converge. History is filled with examples. In the ancient Near East, worshippers of Moloch and Baal offered human lives, sometimes even children, as sacrifices to gain favor and power. Carthaginian priests were said to burn offerings to Baal Hammon in great furnaces, believing the flames carried prayers upward. Across the ocean, the Aztec Empire ritualized sacrifice on a scale almost unimaginable, cutting open thousands of hearts in their temples to feed the gods with living energy. In Europe, the mystery cults of Dionysus and later Roman blood spectacles in the arena turned death itself into ritual theater. Even in the esoteric Kabbalah, mystics warned of the Qliphoth, the shadow side of creation, where the misuse of divine energy could invert into something destructive. And in the modern age, Crowley's writings on sex magic and sacrifice carried the theme into elite secret societies, where the spilling of blood or seed was seen as the highest release of will. Now I am going to explain why such acts with intention and ritual are believed to be real forces beyond myth. Nikola Tesla famously stated, "If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." Regardless of your current belief system, it is to be acknowledged that all phenomena of our realm traces back to the same primordial essence. That which has caused the latest change in the current reality traced back all the way to the Big Bang, or the beginning of observable evolution. Are emotions something we have caused into existence over time, or was there always the possibility of a spectrum of to feel, to be encountered, existing as an independent, objective beam of energy? Did the construct of fear emerge the moment the first victim and the first predator crossed paths? Or has it always existed as a molecular possibility? Occultists believe matter and spirit to be deeply interconnected, both consisting of objective aspects. What an atom is to the material, an emotional, archetypal spark is to the spiritual, and both exist, move, and affect reality through prima materia, which is a Latin term used in alchemy that literally means first matter or primary matter. In alchemy, prima materia is the primal, formless substance, the raw potential from which all creation emerges. Modern science has found a striking parallel in quantum physics. At the deepest level, reality is not made of fixed particles, but of quantum fields, vibrating energies from which matter itself arises. Even what we call empty space, the quantum vacuum, is alive with fluctuations, virtual particles appearing and vanishing, a seething sea of raw potential waiting to be shaped into form. Therefore, we can conclude, even what we experience as emotions arises from the same fundamental processes as the physical world. To understand how magic works, there is another concept you need to be introduced to, and that is the Hegelian dialect, consisting of thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. A thesis is an initial idea, condition, or force. Antithesis is the direct opposite or contradiction to the thesis, and a synthesis is the resolution of the conflict between thesis and antithesis, forming a new, higher-level understanding or state. This process is cyclical and dynamic. Each synthesis becomes a new thesis, generating its own antithesis, and so on. It's not just about ideas. Hegel saw this pattern in history, society, and even reality itself. This means that each concept must meet its own shadow in order to exist, just like Taoism teaches with yin and yang. Now we are about to dive into the dangerous part. In both science and occult practice, energy is never static. Every force has its counterforce. Every action generates resistance. Sacrifice rituals, in their most extreme forms, operate on this principle, deliberately creating a magnitude of tension, transgression, and concentrated focus that goes beyond what the natural or divine laws would ordinarily permit. In other words, reversing the word of God. Consider this analogy. You cannot simply pass through a solid wall. Attempting it normally achieves nothing, but if you strike the wall repeatedly with force and intent, you accumulate pain, which consists of pressure, vibration, and resonance. The energy of each strike compounds, creating a magnitude far beyond a single effort. Ritual sacrifice works in a similar way. The act of breaking a boundary, moral, physical, or cosmic, generates a surge of concentrated energy. In the framework of magic, this energy is neither abstract nor symbolic. It is a real, manipulable force arising from the alignment of emotion, intention, and ritual action. Blood, pain, life force, or sexual energy serve as conduits, focusing and amplifying this magnitude. By intentionally directing it through visualization, invocation, or ceremony, the practitioner attempts to transmit this energy, bending it toward a desired outcome, shaping reality in ways normally inaccessible. This is why ancient and modern occultists alike emphasize the gravity of sacrifice. It is not merely offering something to the divine or the spirits. It is about creating a concentrated, polarized field of energy, the clash of force and counterforce, thesis and antithesis, that can be harnessed to effect change. And yet, as Helena Blavatsky warned, such acts attract lower forces when misused. The universe resists transgressions of natural law, and energy misapplied can bind the practitioner to shadowed consequences rather than illumination, because the pendulum swing always comes back. In short, sacrifice rituals are the practical expression of the same principle we see in all of reality. Energy meets its opposite. Magnitude is created, and with intent, that energy can be transmitted and transformed. But this is the threshold where the line between creation and destruction becomes razor thin, where power is real and consequences are unavoidable. Throughout history, whispers have followed kings, priests, and even entire empires, accusing them of fueling their reign with blood, sex, and ritual. As earlier mentioned, from the ancient worshippers of Baal and Moloch, who burned offerings in furnaces, to secretive mystery cults of Rome, to the esoteric sects of Kabbalah warning of the Qolifoth's shadow energies, the theme is the same: the quest to bend reality by means forbidden to the ordinary man. And the whispers did not stop with the ancients. In the modern world, rumors still persist about secret societies and elite circles who walk the same path. Freemasonic lodges, Rosicrucian orders, and occult fraternities have all been accused of preserving rituals of blood, sex, and inversion, claiming their initiates are taught that true power is generated by the most shocking transgressions. Aleister Crowley, with his system of Thelema, went so far as to rank the potency of sacrifice, writing that the spilling of a young boy's blood was the most powerful act of all. He devised a hierarchy of forces, from animal sacrifice to sexual fluids, to the breaking of innocence itself, each believed to release a greater surge of energy into the ritual field. Some teachings of Kabbalah are said to warn against these very dangers, that misusing divine currents leads to shadow. Yet, rumors claim that in secret, certain occult circles embrace that inversion, tapping into what they believe to be forbidden streams of power. Crowley himself called sex magic the highest form of ritual, and in his infamous writings even suggested that homosexual acts produced a purified current of energy for ritual use. The more extreme and inverted the act, the more magnitude created. Ever since ancient Egypt and Babylon, torturing children was a prominent practice. Performing sexual acts on them is believed not to be of a twisted, satisfactory nature, but to create manipulable magnitudes of energy. Today, whispers tie these forbidden practices to the elites, powerful financiers, political dynasties, and entertainment icons. Stories circulate of hidden gatherings where the masks are dropped, where offerings are made in exchange for influence and control. Whether these tales are fact, exaggeration, or deliberate misdirection, one truth remains: sacrifice, inversion, and ritual transgression have followed humanity from the fires of Canaan to the boardrooms of modern power. The question you must ask yourself is this: are these simply myths meant to frighten, or has the forbidden current of black magic always been flowing beneath civilization, guiding the hands of those who rule? Do people, billionaires, and presidents depend on know as much as we do about metaphysical truths of the cosmos, or is hidden knowledge hidden for a reason?